beautiful scenes there. As the boat, oh, I did a little U-turn. You see that? Look, I just went like, oh, and there it goes.
You really like boats. You're a boat person.
I like boats. I like the sea, man. I like, you know, just kind of cool little things like that. But hello, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we're going to be going to Game 3 of LNG versus Vici. And honestly, we could be going into our second series.
Yeah.
That's how not convincing Game 1 was. If anything, Vici just looked like the better team overall in this entire series.
They won 95% of the time. There's one team fight where LNG won, and that's why we're at a 1-for-1. But if overall, I would say Vici came, excuse me, the far superior team this time around. And this might be only their second win in this split, which is amazing to see, like, how tough their competition actually has been after the break. Even when they had their improvements on the team, they're still finding it pretty difficult to lock down number 2.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see exactly if they are able to do that. But of course, we've got some housekeeping to do. Man of the match for the last game was Jay. Set up that last team fight, found a lot of different picks. Man was really damn good on Qiyana.
Yeah, he's finding some great engages, and this is starting to become Jay's greatest strength. You know, first split, we're a bit questioning, what is he doing here? He seems to not have the best laning phase, but outside of that has a very keen sense of how to find those kills all over the map. It was great on Talia, constantly banned. He has a great Qiyana as well to boot. So playing the silence very well, getting the damage down, and good synergy with Ike's. We've seen this play multiple times in the top side, where he's actually able to utilize Qiyana in a silence position. And also this one was super hype. If Ike's just threw out his ultimate a bit later, that was a 3-man stun and probably would have gotten everyone right there. But you can't get everything in life, still good enough to get them the Baron, and finally double engage again with his jungler Ike's. Great synergy between the two. They're able to clean up LNG 5-0.
And I love the synergy as well between the two of them. We saw them constantly in these replays, just 100% initiation, realizing they're on the same page, they both have the damage, and I just love seeing that. Now, from the side of LNG, I just, like, what do you change?
What is
do you
the word synergy?
Yeah. But
what
even
does it mean?
Just for them, like, this game, this series, this could be their entire season now crumbling in their own hands. Like, they're going from a position of everything's in their fate. They are the ones who dictate where they go and where they don't go. And now they're looking as if they might even be the masters of their own destiny. They might miss out on playoffs.
And if they lose here, W will actually overtake them in the game difference department and leapfrog them. So LNG, they've been holding on. You know, they started this split at number 2 spot. They're holding on to 8th for a long time, but this seems to be the gate. Do they continue to posture themselves as a contender, as a playoff hopeful, or do they finally feel the force of gravity pull them down to their actual state?
And, you know, again, like, no disrespect to Vici, but, like, if LNG is losing this convincingly, not even, you know, losing the odd game that went to 45 minutes and just became one team fight where the other team had a slightly better composition, you're getting out drafted, you're getting out early games, you're getting out rotated, you're getting out team fought, there's no positives to talk for LNG right now. I love the way, Febfen, congratulations to him on your debut, but he's just coming into a dumpster fire. What else can he do?
Well, as long as he himself does not catch on fire, I feel like that is a small win for him. Oh, finally Qiyana banned.
Yeah, we're going to see the Qiyana banned, which means that the Kalista has been left open there by LNG. They feel like the Qiyana was far too strong for Jay in that mid lane. Can't really argue with them on that. Once he was able to get rolling, he became a force to be reckoned with. And again, Vici, again, apart from the last few things, they're not really unhappy with the way the 2 games went. Tristana first pick, almost certainly going to be a solo lane Tristana.
Yeah, we've seen Tristana's pop up in the top side as well. Basically follows the Corki matchup wherever it goes. But also want to drop a small hint that Asura actually is one of those 80 carries to play Tristana in the previous split as well. If you look at his damage profile, he is that super late game carry type of guy. So I wouldn't put it completely out of the realm of possibility, but most likely still in the solos.
I will say, Tristana is great as a counter pick.
Yes.
Very easily counter-picked. So you picking it super early, showing your hand, means that you're either going to have to force Asura onto that bot side, so you have to take this Tristana, because if we put it into mid or top, we're going to get absolutely wrecked. Or you kind of have to hope and pray that the side of Vici don't have any answers to it. But with the Gragas and with the Yuumi picked up, we actually, something that I didn't even notice actually as we're coming into picks and bans, no one's been picking up Olaf.
Yeah, Olaf has been surprisingly missing for a while, and I think it has to do with the general nerfs to the Yuumi. That strong level 1 combo not really existing much more in the meta.
Looks like LNG going to pick up that silence for a 3rd game in a row. First game went to Flande, looked fantastic on it, made some great engages. SofM, not so fantastic. I feel like I'm hating on him a little bit, but he did not. That Raptors take just tilted me off the face of the earth in game 2.
And it's just been consistent. I think that's the problem you're looking at. Now, Tristana Alistar, not a bad bottom lane either. And Vici Gaming going to go for some of the Suning playbook, or the WE playbook. Potential Yuumi TF. Yuumi Sivir, still a very popular composition.
Very safe. And both supports locked in. You'd imagine would be a solo laner or a jungle locked in for LNG. Could potentially, as you say, be the AD carry as well, and jungle going for SofM. But I imagine Flandre will be looking for that Silas saying, hey buddy, I'm sorry, it's my champion. It's not your champion. Like, we had 2 games, one back up against the other, but it looks like Vici don't believe that it's going to be Asura picking up the Tristana as they put a ban into that Xayah.
Yeah, and there's not... Wow, Yasuo banned away from Jay. What? He did play that in the previous split, but I don't believe he's showcased any Yasuo this split so far. No Yasuo is banned so far, but they have some information that we don't.
I suppose, yeah, that's one way to put it, but let's see what the side of LNG really want to go for. Kaiser taken away to Asura, being put into a corner. Ezreal's still, actually no, Ezreal's not available. It was one of the first bans, so 3 AD carry bans taken off the field.
There are a lot of options that are open that are early game counters towards the Sivir. You know, Varus has been one that people have been going for.
Caitlyn doesn't do too badly.
Kalista as well, but it's really forcing Asura's hand, forcing him to go into a direction that he isn't comfortable with. These are the top 4 champions that Asura plays, and they're all denied from him. So big question mark on where he's going to go after that.
Vici have got the priority in terms of what they want to put into their solo lanes right now. Looks like the Corki can't be flexed. We've seen Jay and Chelizi. Did I say that correctly? Chelizi? I kind of westernized
that pronunciation. It's actually just Chelizi.
No.
in Mandarin, but I've realized that none of the casters have been able to say that. So
no,
I'm just going like, okay, this is close enough, I guess.
Yeah. Sadly for me, I'm going to butcher that name. And ooh, looks like it's going to be the Vayne locked in for Asura. I like it too. Gives a lot of kill potential. Means that they're able to kind of transition a little bit earlier to that mid, to, you know, kind of have some kind of mid-game priority.
I almost forgot about that one. This is one of those old classical counters to the Vayne as well. You can't really stop the silver bolts with your shielding. Like, it's potentially possible to do, but it procs so often and so fast. Very difficult to discern from the Condemn as well. So I like what LNG does have. They have a strong killing in the bot side, and Flandre back on one of his best champions.
Yeah, and looks like SofM going to be back on the Silas, almost confirmed. We are still waiting, of course, to see if Febfen goes onto the Akali or the Tristana. Has shown a pretty decent champ pool so far. Lissandra first game, Renekton second game, potentially another one here as we see what the answer for Vici is going to be. It's going to be that Renekton going into that top side, so Corki mid confirmed.
Yeah.
You look very confused.
No, I was just looking at the potential for some of these solo laners to be walking outside of their lane and kind of recalling Flandre and Febfen. Well, Febfen, of course, is his debut, but I don't recall Flandre actually going into the mid lane this split, so he will be holding on to his own lane in the top side, his natural habitat, I should say.
No, natural plays for Demo.
You got me. That will give over a good matchup to Febfen. We have seen just the Tristana versus Corki matchup, and the way that players have been adopting it. They've been taking a very defensive posture. We've seen Xiaohu actually just going straight for the Kleptomancy and the Cult early to start, and saying, you know what, I'm not going to contest this lane. Just give me the gold. You can have your shove. The rest of the map, play safe.
You can see as well the exhaust, I do believe, was taken there as well by Jay. So respecting the matchup, knowing there's a lot of engage. Level 2 damage is insane with the ignite that was picked up by Febfen as well. He's looking for those kills. Whether or not he can find them is going to be the big question. But Vici, you know, they're going to be feeling pretty good. They got themselves a safe bot lane, early game short up with the mid and the jungle. Gragas going to have a lot of kill potential potentially onto that Akali, and we'll see if that Tristana is the missing piece for this LNG puzzle, because right now it's looking all over the place.
Yeah, this is LNG saying, you know what, Jay has been having too good of a time. We need to hard force a counter pick onto him, and their predictions were quite right. It does seem like they know Jay's champion pool very well, and they were willing to first pick the Tristana. That was a bit surprising on my end to see it happen, but definitely seems like they did their scouting well. And this time, I think the biggest difference is that LNG is setting up kill lanes everywhere. They're saying, you know what, SofM, we're going to make this super easy. There's not much synergy here needed. There's a ton of crowd control. Hit it off.
We'll have to wait and see. We are onto the Rift for the third and final time of this series. LNG looking to keep their playoff hopes alive, whereas Vici looking to play spoiler as we wait to see exactly how this matchup goes. Aw, no one's responded. That's so sad.
You can't really root for, what were they chanting? I feel like they were chanting for LGD in the last
I think the last one was LGD, but no one said anything. It was just like, oh.
You know why? Because if LGD are to continue their playoff path, LNG actually has to lose here.
Yes,
So
that is very true.
You don't want to be rooting against the home crowd team in such an important one.
That is very, very true, as we see. Actually, a bit of a rare one. Very rare that we see the top laner actually come down and help out the Gragas. Normally, it's okay to start off a camp, so clearly Vici already starting off as they mean to go on. They want to be able to get a good start for their jungler.
Yeah, I just think that this is a matchup where Flande can't really push up.
That's true.
So there's just like,
not yet, anyway.
You know what? I can be here later. You're not going to do anything with this wave. It's fine.
I can arrive and miss a little bit of CS. You're not really going to kill me as of level 1 or 2.
It actually is going to put him in a very uncomfortable position here. Especially for the Akali, the AoE nature of Gragas' stun is going to make her very uncomfortable, even if she gets that Twilight Shroud down. And you cannot extend that these days.
Level 2 is available for Febfen, has yet to go in, just letting the wave push into him, wants to try and create as much distance between Corki and his own protective turret as possible before he goes in. Has got SofM off to the side, as you can see on the minimap. And top lane, as I said, pushed in. Not a really big deal. As I say that, though, it looks like it's actually going to be a 8 CS lead straight off the bat for Flande, so making the most out of it.
Doing a lot better than expected. Typically, this is considered a hard counter matchup against the Akali.
Yeah, there is the engage. Jay forced to flash, and like we said, Febfen just jumps in, doesn't even have to expend any summoners, and finds himself in a pretty solid position. But here comes the Gragas, just going to be able to push this wave out. I like this from the side of Vici, just making sure that they know exactly what's going on. To see Flande. Ooh, no energy left, just jump back in. Maybe the flash burn. Ow. Flash in, does not get the kill. Flash is burned. LNG have the advantage in top side.
Yeah, it seems like Flande just knows the matchup that much better. Typically, this is not how it's supposed to go. What we've seen is just the Renekton being able to bully Akali in the Shroud because he has that big AoE. He doesn't care where you're hiding. He's going to hit you regardless. But Flande completely flipping over the matchup.
And to kind of put this into perspective as well for, you know, these two teams and kind of figuring out exactly why we're so frustrated with LNG is that we had high hopes for this team. This team have a lot of fantastic players. We've spoken very, very highly of Flande and Asura. You know, SofM was supposed to be the big thing that came in and made this team, you know, the top 4 team they were supposed to be. And the frustrations come because it just hasn't happened.
Snake are the team of unrealized potential. They've always been known as the SKT of scrims. They've been known as being a great team when no one is watching, but when it comes to playoff time, when it comes to crunch, never really made a deep run, never really made a deep impact into playoffs. So LNG still have that on their shoulders, and once again, we're going to have a split where they look so strong to begin with. They had the new casters on the hype train, and then they just kind of throw everyone off the train before it even lands.
I don't even think they throw them off. I think everyone's going to turn around and they're like, oh,
they just leave on their own.
Yeah, no, like they're like running the train. And I was like, oh,
I will
hey
actually
guys,
jump the tracks.
Yeah.
It's like, no, just hang on. We're almost to the station. No, I will jump here.
Yeah, it's like, no, we're good. SofM and the rest of his team just jumping off like well before they're supposed to. But Vici Gaming talked about how it's very positive changes from them coming in, very happy with the development, and honestly, like, they can only take everything, everything they take from the series, even if they do lose a 2-1, it's just positives. Positives knowing that they put it to, LNG to the sword and were able to kind of really make them question whether or not they should have won this series.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a tough one for them if they want to close this one out. Not looking so good just yet, and looking across the board, I'm actually interested by some of the decisions here. We're seeing Jay take Electrocute into the matchup. Typically, we do see the Fleet Footwork or the Kleptomancy just to drag it out, but taking an aggressive summoner in this one is a bit of an interesting decision. Maybe he's trying to plan to get one of those burst kills with Ikes coming in, but definitely not the norm.
Yeah, we have got SofM down to the side. Is going to cut across the mid lane undetected and make sure that he's taking the most efficient route possible to more farms. Crab going to spawn up on the top side. And so far, we see not really a huge amount happening across the board. It was very aggressive early game, to be expected considering that, both LNG and Vici Gaming have got pretty decent starts to the first few levels. But after that, we imagine almost everyone just happy enough to farm it up.
Yeah, I just think this is good defensive play from Vici. All of their lanes are very prone to ganking, especially on the top side. Flande, once he hits that level 6, has a lot of kill threat on Chelizi that's been very far behind. The same goes for mid as well. Vici has actually put down some very decent warding and avoided any unnecessary conflict.
Yeah, and SofM just trying to find something here. You can see now Flande roaming down as well. Vici Gaming know that the side of LNG want to try and make sure that this mid lane gets together. Flash in, Abduct not going to be able to hit him though. Ignite goes down. SofM going to tank up as much as he can. Perfectly done, but he will trade back. Good follow-up there from the Gragas.
Yeah, and this is actually, I would say, a net loss for LNG. They had 3 members committed to this one, and jungler shown as well, and they just trade kills. It even was a mid laner death as well, so really not worth it.
Yeah, you expend a lot of summoners, both flashes burned, ignite. You do end up trading 1 for 1 and end up having a teleport for Jay coming back into this. Actually didn't take the exhaust in the end. I thought he had it, did swap it out at the very, very end, but you can see just about got the buffer nicely done by Jay, which forces the overcommittal from Febfen.
Yeah, this was very well done. Jay would have died a lot easier if he didn't get that Valkyrie off, but finds himself in a great position, makes it very easy for Ikes to follow up. But wait a minute.
Good condemn, but the shield was there from the auto attack onto the veins, so push still comes in for Pup in this bot side. Soutwind's going to be pretty damn healthy. It's kind of almost like he could go down to 100 HP. It doesn't matter. His HP bar does not really matter unless there's a jungler coming in.
Yeah, for sure. You really need to kill the anchor before you can touch the cat. However, I will say for LNG, this is when their mid lane and their bot lane start getting much stronger in the matchup. A lot more kill threat, a lot more sustain, and Febfen, he can basically trade all in whenever he has his ultimate off, and he'll actually be fine in lane. Same thing for the bot side. The bot side, Blade of the Ruin King, once again, a lot more kill threat with the ultimates up. So Vici, even though they made it through the early phases, I still feel like there's a lot of dangerous roads ahead of them.
Oh, potential gank coming in here. We are going to see them land the Q from the Yuumi. SofM going to be spotted out on a ward right here as we see Soutwind just trying to play keep away, try and keep some wards down. Flash is available for Duan as he invested in. There gets the Hebel pulverized and they delete the cat before she can answer. Good move from LNG.
Yeah, could not get over the wall in time, just died during the crowd control duration. That was sweet. And I think it's the start of a laning phase snowball. LNG should be able to clear out at least the entire bottom side of the map. Both of their lanes have priority. Both of their lanes have a lot of kill threat. they should try to expand on this.
This is better from LNG. Oh, Valkyrie used, and Jay has no mana. Jay has a flash to use. Good explosive cast. And picks up the blue. Oh my god. Vici, what happened? They've gone from composed and controlled to very, very scrappy and not sure where they're going.
I was actually pretty certain that Jay was supposed to see LNG in vision, but he walked down anyway. At least he doesn't gonna get punished that hard with it. Still holds on to his life, still is able to wave clear mid.
And that's going to be an Infernal Drake started up here now for LNG. Going to be a pretty powerful Drake at the start of this game, but the Predator has been popped. They know it's going down. This is very, very dangerous for the side of LNG as they not have the push. They're still going to commit to it. We can see now the Gragas going to try and go for it, but without the Corki coming in, they don't really have the numbers, and they have to back away. Infernal goes over to LNG.
They really didn't want to chase that one. Would have given Flande a great opportunity to teleport, and you can see him sitting in base, just waiting on that chance for the bot lane to walk up. So, you know, Vici Gaming, I feel like they do the smart thing right here. They just say, you know what, we're a little bit too far beat. If we extend, we're going to get pincered right here. We don't want that. And Infernal Drake does go over to LNG.
For the first time now, we're seeing LNG in this series have an early game lead. It's only about 1,000 gold, nothing too crazy, but still good enough for them as we see Vici Gaming potentially getting caught out. No, it's actually going to be LNG fearing the package, fearing the engage from the Gragas as well. As SofM puts down a fair few wards, and they're going to look to try and maybe contest this Rift Herald. Alistair's already rotating up as well, but there's 5 members here from Vici. This could be a bit of a trap setup. They do not know that the Sivir and the Yuumi are here. Now they do. This could be a big fight coming in. There's the explosive cast taken out. The Alistair jumps in. They get a great disengage, but the movement straight on top of the Renekton means that he's going to be the first one to fall. It is going to be the Rift Herald taken by Vici Gaming, but can they collect it? I think they may be able to. Exhaust goes down. Explosive cast is there. SofM is off on the back side. There is a flash available for Puff. He gets himself out. They did pick up the Rift Herald, and they get themselves out, only losing 1.
Top layer for Herald, totally worth in my book. Great play by Febfen actually there to make sure that he could close down on the Chelizi kill, just knocking him back with the R in that one. But unfortunately, this is still a pretty massive win for Vici. I love the timing with the extra package and just the roam potential from their own bot side. Oh, I was so close, but very good smite secure from Ike. You can see on the bot side, Chelizi goes in. Actually blows away a lot of ultimates to keep his teammates alive here. So, well done on his part. And this this flight was pretty well done. I'm really surprised that they got out with just 1 death.
And I like the fact that, you know, LNG were very much willing to try and go for that as well. You can see they were looking to see that we can't secure the Rift Herald, although they almost did with the stolen explosive cast with SofM, but we can force a fight afterwards. Very well played by them to try and contest that. It is a 1,500 gold lead, but they have got the Rift Herald in hand on Vici. They're looking for something on bot side, but nobody's home.
Came knocking at the wrong time, and I totally agree. Like LNG, the way they played that, they had only 1 person go in and try to get the steal, so the Yuumi ultimate didn't even really come to get any stuns. The backline was out, and they were just looking for the cleanup, but didn't happen.
They put a ward down, so they know here comes Puff with the Yuumis. They're going to try and look for this engage. There's the Hex Fax coming in. They're going to be able to maybe get the On the Hunt out, but Puff has no real place to go, and Puff will fall. Soutwind immediately just disengaging and running away. As you can see it there, they drop Rift Herald in mid lane though, so they're going to lose a lot of pressure and a lot of plates.
Yeah, the question really is it worth? You can see the rotations happening so fast for LNG, so the Herald actually a bit premature, only going to get 320 gold on that one. Probably not what they wanted. So very strong start from LNG here, and I have to wonder if maybe the better play was actually to potentially go for the top side gank and Herald. Not a lot being done.
LNG finally showing a semblance of an early game, which we haven't seen from them in a very, very long time. Finally showing that they have got the potential to be able to push their teams, you know, and look for those early game advantages. Sitting on a 2,500 gold lead, coming up to 15 minutes is what we talked about last time we were talking about them, is kind of their sweet point for when they were actually really good at playing this game.
Yeah, getting into the later game, LNG is, I believe, the 2nd slowest team behind BLG to really play the game in their style. Much more team fight centric than other squads that are scrappier. in the LPL. And there, you brought up a very interesting point with the picks and the better laning phases. I've always wondered what Asura would look like when he actually just plays for a counter pick, you know? They always just first pick him Ezreal, and I'm like...
The answer is good.
Yeah.
See, the Gragas is towards the top side. Flande taking the better half of the ice, 30 CS up or thereabouts, and you see almost pretty much CS leads in every single lane, every single place, and this SofM is just camping on this bot side as that Shroud is now down. They're going to have the Gragas go up towards top side. Flash is available for Flande. The ultimate was used there, so they trade a Predator for a perfect execution. Dragon in 3 seconds. Second Infernal. Gragas did just show top side. They are going to be able to crack open this bot lane turret as well. You can imagine as there's just pure pressure being put down. Vici looked like they're just 100% giving up this Infernal, just trying to get some kind of gold counter.
Now, this is an interesting decision coming in from Vici. What they're saying right here is, you know what, we're not going to let the game go that late. Double Infernal with this team composition and the amount of damage that they're doing, it is really insane to give double Inferno over here. So I really expect Vici, with getting this priority top lane, aggressively looking for fights afterwards.
And LNG, now with double Infernal, have pretty decent scaling now with those as well. You got the Vayne, of course, always going to be able to chunk out tanks, even if there were any, as only really the Renekton there is going to be going as a bruiser. However, Puff on this Sivir, that's the key right now for Vici. They need to get 2-3 items onto him, and he will start to chunk everybody out on the side of LNG. Even the Alistar through that ultimate shouldn't be able to hide from the, you know, the ricochet crits.
Definitely. LNG doesn't really have the greatest of teamfight compositions. I feel like it really lacks the front line and very susceptible to just getting, you know, completely blown apart by the ricochet from Sivir. So there are some late game outs for Vici Gaming. However, I would not try to go the full distance against this type of team bomb. I think LNG just have so many side lane split push options. If I'm Vici, I'd much rather just close the game down before any of these split pushers become a massive issue. So I'm really looking at just taking down towers fast and using that mobility advantage, and this would be a great start.
Yeah, that looks like they're going to try and dive Flande, who has got the Shroud, if he should so need it. Going to chop out the 5-point strikes just to try and clear this wave, should do so successfully. And they're going to lose topside turret, so LNG owning these rotations, the safety that you get with Akali, knowing that they can't die for with the turrets being so healthy, it's just so difficult for the side of Vici Gaming to kind of deal with right now.
I'm a little bit surprised that Vici didn't try to force that one a little bit harder. Of course, Flande did a great job holding onto his flash in the prior gank, so maybe they took that into consideration, but that just ended up in LNG just bleeding objectives over the map.
Yeah, LNG is able to pick up some more gold, some more pressure, and they're happy enough with this team fight coming in as well. Or sorry, excuse me, not the team fight, the split push coming in as well. They're happy enough with sending the Tristana. As you can see, she just melts through these turrets with that Q able to be procced with the Blade of the Rune King. Has such good turret taking potential. Asura now in this top side should actually be able to take this Renekton now that his cooldowns are down. Maybe fancies himself as well. Gonna find him. Pop the ultimate. There it is. They're gonna try and see if they can get something. There's the Blade of the Rune King popped as well. He should be able to kite this one out pretty damn easily, but the teleport gonna be committed there. Flash in. The Q gonna come in as well, but there's the Condemn. Will be able to get the kill off of this. They trade back 1-for-1, but now the Akali is here. Tristana died in the mid lane. I'm not quite sure how. They will have the perfect execution, but not so perfect that it does not mean that the Gragas goes down. Great explosive cast to catch out Jay. It's going to be Duan picking up the turret aggro. Tristana did fall in the mid lane. Not quite sure how that one happened, but it ends up being a 2-for-2.
But this is still one that LNG can defend. They're already paying their backs, and I would say a very strong win for LNG. This is the first game in the series where they've had decided advantages in the side lanes and are able to utilize it. Vayne, a great counter pick. If you play top lane, you know what I mean. A great pick against the Renekton. Very difficult for the Renekton to outplay this, and even down a level, he's willing to go in and just finish off the kill 1v2. So really good play from them, and this is why I say that Vici Gaming actually have a very clear timer on their heads. They're going up against double Infernal. They're going up against side lane pressure. If I was Vici Gaming, I'd really be trying to be super proactive with on the hunt, try to find more of those kills that you found in the bot lane,
Great
and never
pass.
let that happen. Whew, that was sweet.
And that was just fantastic movement there. However, I will say the mid lane turret did go down, so the map opens up a little bit more now for Vici. You've got to be careful of Puff now, scaling towards 2 items. He's a little bit behind in terms of scaling, as he didn't pick up that kill. It was the Yuumi who picks up her Athenes and Holy Grail. But right now, this Renekton can't really fight anybody. There's two Blade of the Ruin Kings. There's a Hextech Gunblade as well on the Akali. He can't really go up against anyone apart from maybe SofM's Silas, and even then, it's a bit of a risk, considering that, you know, he just doesn't have the real burst damage, considering he went with that Black Cleaver and not the Spear of Shojin.
Yeah, and there's a good reason why he didn't go that. Spear of Shojin doesn't really provide you with the same level of tankiness compared to something like the Titanic and going back into the Sterix. So I think you can see that he's more considering about the wave clear and the potential to leave lane rather than winning any of these solo matchups, and that's correct assessment. He's just not very strong on the map right now. I think Vici have to take over this chance around the Drake, but they've been put so far behind. They're nowhere close.
I think Vici have confided themselves into waiting for this Sivir to scale, and that is never a good sign to have from a team that has played this series so damn well. LNG finally waking up, finally finding that early game advantage. It's about 3,000 gold, 3 Drakes, and a Vayne with 2 items. That's pretty damn scary.
And LNG is a terrifying team at doing Baron. It's double Blade of the Ruin King with 3 Drake buffs that help them take the objective. This is a game where I would be much happier with them just going straight in and actually just setting up the area. They can do it so fast. If Vici ever take their eyes off of it, it's just gone.
And there is a pink ward there, so they know that it's being taken. But I don't think Vici can actually react to this. They try just to jump straight onto Flande. He's going to get stunned up and rooted up by the final chapter. Baron goes down. Like you said, it was just too quick. I don't think Vici were in a position to contest it.
Yeah, they just couldn't walk over Flande. All Flande had to do was just stun the rest of the Vici members, and that was going to be good enough for them to take Baron. So, valiant sacrifice by him, and nothing much that Vici could actually do. I just felt like if you're playing this comp and you're put in this situation, it's pretty much all or nothing. You have to pull the trigger earlier.
They do kick out Flande, so 1 less Baron buff to deal with as such, but realistically going to have to try and find an advantage with that. It will delay the push a little bit as well, but right now they're just trying to get some items going. Have finally got that Infinity Edge now onto Puff, as well as the Triforce onto Jay in the mid lane with that Essence Reaver. So they've got themselves some big item spikes. However, they need to find opportunities, and right now LNG are not giving those opportunities away.
And all LNG have to do is just play it slow and steady. They have multiple split pushers. Like, you could even send your AD carry to the bot lane to continue the shove. So LNG pretty much have a myriad of options open to them. They could go for the 1-3-1. They could go for a 4-1. It's all up to them. There's nothing that can actually contest any of these silent split pushers. All 3 of them are viable.
1-2-run probably going to be the call, as you can only send the Corki and Sivir to 2 lanes maximum. But it looks like the side of Vici maybe trying to set up for something. They're trying to split between all the different lanes, make sure they do not lose as much as they can. Good check there. I like those small little things you see from players, just being able to check out for potential sneakies, as Poppy would say.
Makes all the difference in the world. People have been conditioned, and you coming from LEC, you definitely know the Fnatic rush.
Sora takes a bit of a chunk, but as I said, 1-3-1 is activated here for the side of LNG. They cannot send everyone on the side of Vici to 1 lane. They have to decide, so it's going to be puffed towards that bot side, which is pushing into Asura, who's able to heal back up with Play the Ruin King. In top lane, they're going to have the Flande solo team, as he's able to take on the Renekton, but that mid lane is the one that's kind of currently being under siege. I don't think they can really defend this, and they're going to have to give it up.
Predator popped. Not going in. Not going in.
Now they can transition down towards this bot side, transition more into a 1-1-3, go for their next objective. However, it is very difficult to try and take out this wave clear as such with the Sivir. Said just going to try and focus towards that top side, like the adaptation from LNG, realizing that there was no one up towards top side apart from this Renekton, and they can take themselves a pretty easy second turret now on 6,000 gold in terms of a lead. It's only getting harder and harder for the side of Vici to really find any opportunities. They need to find a Gragas or a Renekton flank to really set this up.
It's going to have to be something great from Ike's. They're just pulling ahead too much on LNG's side. And I'm a little bit disappointed. Vici Gaming going back to some of their old ways, just being kind of indecisive in finding the correct engagements. They do have a lot of champions that can just run up to you, stun you. You know, Southwind plus Puff, that's a great combination. Ike's can be of great use with that explosive cast, but they just need to go. These are not going to get better.
Yeah, they need to find something, and soon. Jay, though, needs to be very, very careful. Does not know where this Akali is, who will just show herself into that mid lane as well. So they're now moving towards that bot side, looking for the easy objectives in those outer turrets. However, like I said, very difficult to find those opportunities. It's going to be a 4-man stack, 5-man stack actually, I should say, from the side of LNG, as Jay and Renekton are in this bot or mid lane. They haven't got Baron buff left, so they're looking for just maybe an engage. Predator was popped. That's going to be enough to scare away LNG. 20 seconds to the Ocean Drake spawns. They're going to be able to take that one pretty much for free. But overall, successful enough Baron push. They didn't get a huge amount, though, with it. They got 2 towers. That was it.
It's good enough, though. 7,000 gold, and they have the Elder Drake to look forward to. 3,200 gold lead with the Baron buff. And I feel like if they just keep their 1-3-1 formation together, they're always able to hold hands and take the waves across river at the same time, then they don't need to worry that much about Sivir blowing up the entire team. Even if Sivir engages, maybe she takes down one lane, you still have the other 2 to count on. So LNG, as long as they maintain their posture in the 1-3-1, they're able to escort their waves correctly. I see it very difficult for Vici to ever find a team wipe.
That's what Vici want right now. They've got the tools in their arsenal to be able to take a 5v5, and realistically, you got to think it's going to be around this Baron in a minute. They have to contest that Baron if they want to try and stay in this game, in this series. It would just be heartbreaking for Vici as a team, just knowing they were so close to winning this series, taking that elusive second series win. It could just all float away from them in a third game that just hasn't gone their way at all. It all relies on Puff and Jay to be able to get these team fights going in their favor. Febfen, doesn't matter if he takes 1 or 2 Qs from that pesky cat he's got himself.
Here we go.
This could potentially be it. Oh, baiting out the ultimate there. So that's 1 ultimate down. That's key. On the hunt is a good ultimate to steal there from SofM. Means they can disengage if they need to. Flande is pushing in the bot side. Baron is up in 20 seconds. Looks like it's going to be the side of Vici. Kind of almost forced it a little too early, which means they can't force the Baron 100%. Almost certainly means that this tower and bot side is going to go down.
I would actually prefer Vici to just hard rush the Baron. I know it sounds super crazy, but it's probably the best opportunity to get a full-on team fight coming in from LNG. Like, this just feels like LNG is going to rotate back, and with the items and how much power they have, they can take this under 6 seconds.
They could take this so damn quickly. As you can see, Jay is on vision. Flande now in the position to roam up. They jump straight onto the Gragas, and that is not a position you want to be in. However, if they can trade it back, jungler for jungler, they will be able to trade it in, but not quite able to do so. Jungler now down. It's Vici. They have to fight. They have to try and get a kill, but Flande is looking for the flank.
I gotta love that SofM decision, just taking the Sivir ultimate, catching up to people. Know where Ike's could go.
Oh dear, and that's just salt in the wound of Vici Gaming. They can't even realistically contest it. And
yeah,
had they traded SofM, it could have potentially gone their way, but I need to see exactly how Gragas got caught out there, because it just immediately gets burnt down. There's just nowhere for him to go, and Vici, it's almost impossible for them to bring this back.
It's just good ultimate decision from SofM. Good stun here, and Febfen was in sync with him. Synergy has been what we were emphasizing this entire series. And finally, SofM and Febfen find some of it. If there was ever a need for desperation play, I would say that was it. If I was Vici Gaming, I would hard rush that Baron, at least buy myself a 5v5 team fight. Going back to defend against double Infernal plus Mountain, there's just no chance to hold on to Baron.
Got 3 items onto your Sivir now. Almost 3 as well for your Corki, so not too far away. But you have now finished up the holy trifecta of items if you like, for your Tristana. Play the Ruin King, the Rapid Fire Cannon, and the Infinity Edge means that that Tristana is going to melt minions, champions, and towers alike. As well as Asura nicely with the Wit's End. A bit of defense as well, a little bit sustain as well.
And once you fall below that 50% HP bar, you do start to get some of that on-hit damage back.
It's only 33% effective on range, but still good nonetheless. See now exactly what the side of Vici want to do. They have to make a decision. You feel like they have to make a call. Have to fight over an inhibitor somewhere, otherwise this game is just going to fall away from them.
Most likely will be looking at the 3-man here. If you want to engage somewhere, you might as well go for the largest payoff.
It's like a big, big mistake, I feel, from the Flande as we see it engage. Not going to hit Febfen with that explosive cast. Big, big ultimate down now. As well as the spell shield down as well. And that mid lane turret is under fire, and they can swap straight away, and they're going to lose that inhibitor turret, followed by the inhibitor. They have to reset. They have to look for something else. LNG relentless in their push.
And all three sides are beating out their counterparts quite easily. Even the top side, Renekton against Akali, just can't get through her sustain at this point. Looks like they're going to wait all the way till the Nexus.
This is so unfortunate for Vici. They need to try something. They do. They go in. The Ignite is down onto Jay. He dies, and it's going to be Febfen surviving. There's the final chapter. Not able to hit the Vayne, though. They're looking for any kind of crits there from Puff, but the base is being lost right now. They're going to lose their jungler. They will take down SofM, but the rest of his base is going down. However, Febfen goes super deep, and he goes down as well. But Flande looking to try and take out Puff. He flashes in. He gets the perfect execution, and that is your defense gone for the side of Vici Gaming. LNG will eventually take the win. They'll take the series 2-1. And overall, they will keep their playoff hopes alive.
Bated breaths as the worlds watch LNG linger on to hope. LGD, this does mean that they will actually fall out of playoff running. Congratulations to Tongqing and LNG for keeping their hopes alive.
And LNG finally waking up in this series, finally taking a convincing game. They controlled it, they played to their composition's strengths, played the 1-3-1, got the Barons, and realistically, once that early game did not go the way of Vici, there was no real way for them to come back, and I really felt like they just lacked a kind of a hard engage.
Yeah, they were playing a composition that had a lot of strength when they had priority. There was a lot of movement to be had with the Corki, and a lot of strength in the early Drake fights with Renekton as well. Unfortunately, they never found a good opportunity to use it, and this is something I really liked of the LNG draft, is that they finally hard committed, instead of their style, to the lane counter. They had a great scouting priority where they took the Tristana early, which is pretty rare to see, to be honest. Like, if you think about something like the Cassiopeia that could just show up and ruin your day, they definitely knew their scouting homework. They did that well. And in the bot lane, this is something I've been waiting to see for so long. It's just Asura not hard force himself onto an Ezreal and just take something that's actually a lane counter. To be fair, Vici Gaming actually banned away all of his champions to put him into that position, but it was nice to see LNG be lane dominant for a change, and I hope it opens their minds.
We can only hope and pray. LNG finally showing a little bit of life in them as they take the series 2-1. Could have been a 2-0 loss, and Vici Gaming going to be kicking themselves for not taking that first game, you feel. But a result is a result, and a W is a W for LNG, and they will be happy nonetheless. All they need to do now is take another 1 or 2, and they've got themselves into playoffs.
Yeah, it's very close in the playoff contention. We're pretty much looking at 6 teams going after that final 8th place spot. IG and EDG, even though they're not completely secured yet, they've only played 12 games, so still a much better chance there. It really is LNG and everyone downward looking for that final one, and we're going to see the conclusion very soon.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Unfortunately, though, if you are an LGD fan, they are out of playoff contention, sadly, regardless if they win their series against JDG, which is happening right now. And it's unfortunate. It was mathematically very unlikely regardless. They would have needed a 2-0. They would have needed so many results in their favor, not just LNG losing. They would have needed other teams to keep losing as well. But overall, we're getting closer and closer. Bye, Pen. Have fun.
Bye, LGD.
It's okay. Yeah, that is perfect metaphor. As LGD just fall to the wayside.
I hope LNG doesn't follow them. Like, I really want to see the waking of LNG. I think they have the players to actually play lane dominant and contest priority early, but they never seem to do it, which is so weird. It's baffling for me. Like, Flande has been consistently ranked in the top 3 of the top laners for a long time. Asura, I would put him in the upper half as well, but they never seem to switch gears and say, you know what, we need to play an early game. How do we do that? How about we pick late game?
I know, right? And that's, we talked about it during the cast. That was part of our frustrations with this team, the lack of adaptation, the lack of urgency to go, we need to change something because we're just dropping down the ladder. And
you have the talent to do it.
Yeah.
Just pick just
you have so much talent in that roster, and that kind of like explains why we're so frustrated with them so many times with this series, or even this season even. But again, they come out with the win. They keep their playoffs hopes alive. Now the pressure is on JDG, Team WE, Dominus to an extent as well, but I think it's still very unlikely that Dominus make it, sadly, as they lost to RNG yesterday. And I want to see what else they can do, because at the end of the day, again, no disrespect to Vici Gaming, this is against the last place team in LPL, and it was still a struggle. That's how that's the issue you got right now.
Oh, but life is a struggle.
Yeah.
Everything is a struggle. But I'll have some predictions for LNG coming up. I think that, number one, they keep Febfen on the lineup. He actually had a very good performance. And
Agreed.
Jay is not someone you walk over these days at all. You might think he comes from Vici, but Jay actually represents a good, strong mid laner in the LPL, even in the LPL ranking. So I think they're going to hold on to Febfen. I think Duan played pretty well overall. I'm actually happy with him returning to
Apart from game 1.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll forget about that one.
So LNG, at least they did make some swaps. They did make some more concerted efforts toward the laning phase of the drafts. And if they can keep on to that one, I would call that small improvements.
Small improvements, but improvement nonetheless. We are going to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. When we return, we will jump straight into JDG versus LGD and see how JDG's playoff chances fare up. We'll see you very soon.